On this week's show, we are going to be discussing how to manage property refurbs.
In the news, why house prices rising so fast during the pandemic.
And we're going to be answering all of your questions in today's Q&A session.
Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends.
Hey, my name's Alistair Cunningham.
Hey, I'm Ricky Mandel.
And we're here today with the Property Investors Podcast. So welcome. Ricky, here we are, man. One of the refurbs that I've got ongoing.
Yeah.
You've decided to join me. You've come front of camera this time instead of behind the camera. We're just you're sort of stepping in for Russell. Russell's busy today, so we've managed to upgrade you from cameraman to presenter. So how does that feel?
It'll be back to a downgrade next week.
Yeah, we'll be back to camera work next week. Nah, just kidding. So look, what you been up to, man?
Oh, it's been busy. Looking at lots of houses this week, actually. Not so much buy, refurb, refinance this week, but looking at service accommodations because I think that's going to be starting to take off. But over the next few months, I am looking at some buy, refurb, refinances because I think they will be the ones to look out for over the next few months.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been looking at lots of deals as well. But yeah, I agree with you about the SA market. It's booming at the minute. But look, enough about us. Listen, we're here today. We're in an ongoing refurb. And this property is my property. I own this property and it's in Bedfordshire. It's the one that we always go on about in Bedford. I'm here, we're in it. The kitchen,
This is the famous one.
It is the famous refurb. Now, it's a bit of a mess at the minute, but the kitchens are all in, everything's in. The first fix is all done. Kitchen's in, second fix is nearly done. We've just got to finalise a few things, so there's a few final things to get finished before we get the painters and decorators in to finish the final touches. But a lot of people ask me on a regular basis, like finding builders and managing ongoing build projects. It's fair to say I've had a fair few issues with this property. Now, for those who don't know, I bought this property mid-COVID, so I bought it in towards the end of July last year, and it had major structural issues. So that in itself added 3 to 4 months to any sort of build because we had to get that through building regs. And basically, what happened was upstairs, the top floor, there was a load of acroprops holding the top up, the ceiling up and the loft up, because the extension wasn't built properly. So we had to rectify that by installing a load of steel beams, getting the right people out to fix it and to deal with it, and that added some time to the build. That took, basically, we completed July 8th, I think it was, and December time is when it got signed off building regs. To say yes, it's all okay to go through and actually continue in the building safe, basically. And then I've had issues with builders on site, obviously COVID, all that sort of stuff, so you can't have multiple trades in at the same time. I even had the council come out and kick all the builders out once because there was multiple trades in here. Now, we weren't technically breaking the rules, but they said we were. It is what it is, but look, refurbs are difficult at the best time. Throw in a pandemic and a shortage of materials, and it does add time. But I know you've done a few refurbs. I know you've got a few refurbs that none ongoing at the minute, but I know you've done some. You've done a refurb during the eviction process.
Yeah. that was funny.
It was funny.
That was the first, and it was funny.
It was the first. To be honest, after the end of that episode 2 on the eviction, if you've not seen it, watch it. After episode 2, I thought you'd never want to do a refurb again in your life.
What I've realised from that is you don't have to know how to actually do the refurb yourself to be able to do buy, refurb, refinance.
No, you don't. So what would your tips be on 1, finding a builder, and 2, managing the build ongoing? Because obviously there's two, in my world, there's 2 types of investors. There's an investor that loves being hands-on. They've got to be hands-on, they've got to know the nitty-gritty of what's going on, they've got to be there, they've got to be checking in, they've got to be making sure everything's going according to plan, etc, etc. And then you've got the other investor that wants nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. They literally want to pay the bills and that's it. They want somebody else to do it all for them, and they will deal with that. What type of investor are you? and then I'll tell you what type of investor I am.
What do you think I am?
I think you're completely hands off. You want somebody else to do it because you don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
When I say he doesn't know what you're doing, what I mean by that is give Ricky a...
Give me a paintbrush and I'll mess it up.
No. Come on. You give yourself some credit. During the eviction, you done really good, man. Like, seriously, really good. You done a 10 grand refurb. You pulled all your socks up. You all got together. You done it, and you done it for less than 2 grand.
Look, there's people that can do it better than me, so why would I not pay them to do it?
Yeah, that's better. That's a better answer. So I'm a sort of investor. I'm a bit of both. I've got deals that I've not even seen. So I've got a deal I'm doing at the minute that I've never even viewed. I didn't even view the property before I bought it. I've got somebody else to view it because all I care about that, and this property's up north in Hull, all I care about is the purchase price, the refurb, and then how much can I sell it for. That's all I care. I don't care about looking at it. I don't need to go and look at it. I can get people who are better at me to analyse the property and get them to look at it and price up the refurb. Now this property was a full refurb top to bottom, so there's no point in me going to look at it. I might as well just send one of my trusted builders in to do that. And this particular property I'm talking about, my dad went and viewed it because he's a builder, and he went and sorted that out. So we're going to be getting that one done. So the numbers on that are purchase price of 58 grand. Going to need about a 15k refurb, and it's going to be worth about 90 to 110 afterwards. But we don't know because there's no real comparables in the area. So that's going to be a quick turnaround buy refurb refinance. The other one I've just viewed and I've had an offer accepted on is a property in Wellingborough, and it's a property in mid refurb, and they've sort of given up. So I've provisionally had my offer accepted, and that's going to be around 162. We're hoping we can get it for. It's provisionally accepted. We're just waiting for. We're giving the vendors have asked for sort of 48 hours just to. They provisionally accepted, but they just want 48 hours to just finalise it and to. I think they're just testing the water to try and see if they can get more money. But 162 purchase. To finish the job, it's going to be probably 10 to 12,500 pounds. And then it's going to be worth about 220, 230. And that's just, a quick buy refurb refinance or buy refurb flip. Not sure what we're going to do yet. So, both of these jobs need builders. And where do you find good builders?
I think there's a few places. I mean, I'll give you two that I look for. The first one is, social media, looking in, groups for recommendations, stuff like that. So you can always do recommend. That's probably the most powerful this way because no one's going to recommend a builder unless they use them yourself more times than not. Another good experience. The other way is going to the area and as crazy as it sounds, driving around and seeing if you can find a refurb that's going on where there's builders in there, so you can go in and just look. I'm looking to use a building team for a project I'm doing and speak to them and have a look at the work that they're doing, how tidy is the place, and going out there and finding them yourself in your area. They're the two main ways that I would do it.
Do you know the other way? And I've done this before, much like what you said. I was actually on a property viewing, and at the end of the same street there was a house getting a full refurb. There was scaffolding up out the front, there was somebody on the roof, there was people inside, and I literally just went in, knocked on the door, and I went, "Hey, I'm looking at a house down the end of the road. It's very similar to this. Can I just pop in and have a look to see what you're doing to get some idea as to how it is?" Because it's the same initial base property. It's just a case of I wanted to get some ideas to what I could do with this property at the end of the road. And I ended up sort of getting the guy's phone number, and I said, "Look, how long are you going to be on this? Would you be prepared to do the one at the end of the road as well, similar to what you've done here?" And of course he was happy to do that. Now the good thing being is because it's the same property, just 10, 15 doors away, he's got a good idea of what things are going to cost. So he literally, I was there for like an hour, and I said, "Look, do you mind just coming and have a look at the property with me?" So we walked down. The estate agent was there all day because they were doing group viewings all day, block viewings all day. And we went down, had a little look around the property. He said, "Yeah, it'll be the same as what he's done for this one." And I'm like, "Great, I've now got my numbers." And I also got a builder who I've seen his work because I went into a property he was working on. And the property was reasonably tidy. The tradesmen all looked professional. A couple of tips for checking tradesmen. Like, do they work clean? Are they clean at working, or is there shit everywhere? Is it a mess, or are they tidy? Do they sweep up after they've done a job, or do they leave the shit lying there for 3 days and then sweep up in 3 days? When they're doing things like tiling, is there grout everywhere, or is there grout or adhesive everywhere, or is it nice and clean and presentable? When they're painting and decorating, have they got paint all over the handles, or do they know how to cut in? It's just little things like that, because if they don't take care in what they're currently doing, they're not going to take care of what you're presenting to them. Now, one thing that I do is I don't recommend any builders, right? I never recommend a builder. I never have done and I never will do. What I do is I say, look, if somebody comes to me and says, Alistair, we're looking to get a build done by, sort of get this property made into a 6-bed HMO or 7-bed HMO or whatever, I'll say, great, no problem. Where is it? And then I'll say, look, I've used this guy before. Go and use him, or go and contact him. The contract is between you guys deal with that, but it's not between me and you, because I don't want to be involved in that side of things. What I want to do is I'll say, look, I've used him. What he done for me, I was very happy with, but you've got to do your own due diligence to make sure that you're happy with what he does. And it's very, very crucial that you do that. So that's the way I found a builder. Another way I found a builder is I found actually 3 or 4 different tradesmen from property I'm doing in Bedford. And they didn't come from me. They came by people knocking on my door. So when I was actually here, we were in mid-refurb, I was here checking in, and we had a knock on the door, and that was a tiler. A guy called Peter, a tiler. He turned up and goes, oh look, I'm in the area, working in the area, I see you're doing a refurb. Like, who owns it? Now, I happen to be here, so I said, well, that's actually my house. And I said, look, I've got a few properties, and he gave me his card, and I actually got him back to help with the tiling. So he done some of the tiling for me, in the bathrooms. I done all the kitchen, but he done the bathrooms, because I'd done the kitchen by then, so he done all the bathrooms for me. So that's one way, like, you just got to put yourself out there. But how do we manage an ongoing property? So if you've got a refurb ongoing, what do we do to manage it? Ricky,
Yeah, I think...
what's the first thing we need to do if we're going to instruct a builder? What's the first thing we need to do?
Well, the first thing that I would do... Well, I was going to give you a tip. Well, not you a tip, but, you know. Give Alistair a tip. Well, what I would do when managing... excuse me, is I would only have one point of contact. So when you're managing the refurb, you don't want to be in contact with the plumber, the electrician, this person. You don't want to be doing that. You just want to have one point of contact where you say, great, they're in charge of all of the contractors, and they're the only person that reports to you, and you're the only person that reports to them.
That's a very good point. One point of contact. What I'm going to add to that is you want to have a clear outline of what the expectations are. What are your expectations? I.e., what do you want done in the property? You can't just say to them, "Oh, give it a refurb," because their idea of a refurb and your idea of a refurb might differ, and then you'll end up an unhappy person. So what you need to do is you need to have a very clear outline and schedule of works. What is it you're expecting? What is it you want? What type of kitchen do you want? What colour kitchens do you want? What colour tiles do you want? You need to, and this comes from a meeting. So what I tend to do is I buy the property, I get the keys. I'm always, before completion date, I'm speaking to a builder. Ideally, I'd like to get him to the property before we complete, so we can start putting a plan together of how much things are going to cost. Failing that, I would get him to the property the day of completion, and I'll say, look, this is what I think. What do you think? What do you think is going to work best? Because listen, I know a little bit about build work. I can do refurbs, but I'm not a builder, so I don't think about things that the builder will think about when it comes to doing refurb.
Yeah.
For instance, en suites. If you've got a house full of en suites, how are you going to get the waste pipes from the middle of the house to the end of the house without making it look hideous? Because obviously you can't cut through joists. So it's just things like that, and that's where your builder will really help you plan the job. So I think number one point of contact. Number two, a clear plan and a clear schedule of works. And you want to take advice from the builder as much as possible, because they're the ones that are going to be doing it, and they can advise you tricks of the trade and things like that to make the job go smoother, more cost effective, and just you get a better end result. Now, what I see a lot is people try and cut corners and save money because they don't want to pay the builder for the advice. That's wrong, and it's such a broke attitude, because it will save you money, because a builder telling you and advising you what to do from the offset will save you money in the long run. There's absolutely categorically no question about that. So number one, one point of contact. Number 2, a clear plan, a clear schedule of works. And number 3, you want to be having some sort of contract in place, something in place that lays out your expectations, their expectations, when they're expected to be paid, when you're expecting to pay, when you're expecting the jobs to be done. Maybe you can do payments paid on tranches where they do a job, you pay them, they do a job, you pay them. So you pay in stages. That would be a good way to do it. And also, if you want to, you could put in things like time penalties. So if the project runs over, is there a cost to that? Because obviously, if you're doing buy, refurb, refinance, you're either going to be really using cash or bridging. Bridging's expensive. Cash is your money's tied up in the deal.
If you go over the term with bridging, that's when you might want to have clauses in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this all needs to be laid out very clearly in your contract with the build team. And again, I think number 4, I think it's really important to have a constant contact with your builder.
Yeah.
Not to the point where you're hassling them all the time, saying, look, why is this not done? Why is this not done? But you need to be having regular conversations with them to make sure that they're on track, to make sure there's no problems, to find out what's going on, and just to find out where they're at. I've experienced problems in the past with build teams. Fortunately, I've got a pretty decent team now, and yeah, my guys are pretty decent. They stay on top of things. They get on with things. I've just taken on my father's actually started working with me very closely because he's a builder and he's just moved back down from Scotland, so he's going to be doing all my refurbs going forward.
Yeah, I think you need to. It's important as well to check in every 3-4 weeks. Just pop over, check in, and see what's been going on.
Yeah, number 4, regular contact. But then number 5, I would also do site visits. And you could even just pop in unannounced and just see how they're getting on. If you suspect they're not pulling their weight, don't tell them you're coming. Just pop in. That often scares them a little bit because they're like, oh man, should have done that. But look, it's all about relationships. You have a good relationship with your builder, you'll have lots of good deals coming out of it, and you'll save money, you'll get a good job, and they'll want to work with you. Remember, property is about people, it's about the relationships you build with the people that you work with, and you want a good working relationship with these people to help you get your buy, refurbish, refinance business going and to keep it sustainable and making profit for you and the builder. And finally, before I go and move on to the news, don't be a tight ass. Okay, I'm being serious here. Don't penny pinch, don't scrimp and scrape, just do it properly first time because it will need to be done, and if you don't do it properly first time, you'll only have to do it again and it will cost you more money. So don't scrimp, don't try and be a cheap ass, don't be a cheapskate, get the job done right first time by the right tradesman and you'll have to pay for that. Yeah?
Agreed.
On that bombshell, guys, we're going to move on to the news. An interesting news article this week. We've been asking a question I get a lot, and I know Ricky does, is why are house prices rising so much during this pandemic? We're in a pandemic, why are they going up? They should be going down, okay? Well, according to the BBC, UK house prices are absolutely soaring. Like, official figures show that they're increasing at the fastest rate in more than a decade, despite the country being gripped by the COVID virus. Now, UK's biggest national building society, the Nationwide, has described the UK market as buoyant. First-time buyers and movers are moving from a sinking feeling as somewhat check the likelihood of owning further out to reach further properties. Or potential first-time buyers and movers may have more of a sinking feeling as some watch the likelihood of owning moving further away because the boom is going higher. And this is likely. So the average house price today. So if you look from today, the average house price is £256,405, where if you consider that to 2 years ago, it was £228,000. So that's gone up considerably. That's 10%. Property values, 10.2%. It's the fastest growing annual rate in 14 years, and it shows the boom areas. So if you go into the BBC article, you'll see this. It shows you the areas, according to Zoopla, in the country where they're growing the fastest. Incidentally, where do you think the fastest growing rates are?
I'm looking at the map.
Where do you think?
Well, is it East Anglia?
So it's more of, hold on. Right, so it's more of Mid Wales, interesting, and Mid the West Midlands and the East Midlands, house prices are going up ridiculous, and also in North West. Look, we know house prices are going up, we absolutely know that, but actually when you start putting facts and figures to it, it does make it a little bit more interesting. So a 10% rise in a year is crazy, highest rate in 14 years. I
think there'll be a dip coming.
Do you? Why do you think that?
You're so excited. Do you?
Why do you think that? I don't know, because I've got some buy refurbs that I need to get
I don't know, I just think like right now, because obviously, as you just heard, they're skyrocketing at the minute, and I just feel like we're on a point where I just feel like it's about to tip.
Yeah. Well, let's just wait and see, guys. Let's just wait and see. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to be a plateau? Do you think it's going to drop? Do you think it's going to go? It's going to keep going high? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know. Okay, a couple of questions I've had a couple of questions come in this week. Now, I normally do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live to get your questions, and people just send me DMs or they drop it in the comments below. And I've only got 2 questions this week, so let me just get to them questions. And the first question, this comes from a lady called Pamela. Hey Pamela, and this comes via Instagram. Now the question is, I'm looking for a safe buy-to-let. So she just wants safe buy-to-let. She doesn't want buy, refurb, refinance or service accommodation. Where in the country would I do that, and where in the country do you recommend to get a good return on investment? I'm happy with 10 to 15%. Ricky, whereabouts? In the country, she's got a little bit of money to get. She's not got a lot of money. She's got about 30 to 40,000 pounds to invest. She wants to get a safe return on investment, safe single let somewhere in the country. She's got 20 to 30 to 40,000 pound ish. Whereabouts?
For 10% and above, you could be at anywhere from Northamptonshire and above.
Yeah, I agree. Because look, if you've got like say 30 grand, right, that means you can get a house around 125,000 pounds. Now, where can you buy a house for 120 to 125,000 pounds and then rent it out and get 700 to 800 pounds a month? Well, the Midlands, Birmingham, Walsall, Dudley, Wolverhampton, some places in Coventry, parts of Leicester. There's houses where you can still buy at that sort of rate and get a good ROI.
Yeah.
So you've got to do your due diligence. If you don't know how to do that, make sure you get yourself along to the Property Investors Crash Course. We're going on a UK tour. You're going to be there. I'm going to be there. Samuel's going to be there. We're going on a UK tour and it starts on 21st of June. And we're going all over the place. So no excuses. We're going to be in Manchester, Leeds, Swindon, Walsall, Watford. We're going up and down, left to right. So there's no excuses not to be there, guys. Okay, next question is from Robert. Robert wants to do lease option agreements. I'm struggling with getting landlords to agree to it. Listen, it's something I get asked a lot about. How do you get landlords to agree to lease option agreements? And my question to you is, what training have you done on it? Because you're trying to persuade a landlord or a homeowner to give you their asset on a buy now, pay later type arrangement. So one of the things that I would want to know is that you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to instill confidence in the homeowner. So it's really important that you know what you're doing.
Yeah, there's a system.
Yeah, it's a system.
There's a system that we have. On the lease option bootcamp, we show you the system of how to position yourself in front of landlords.
Yeah.
So
I think it's crucial to get trained. Again, Property Investors Crash Course, we talk about it, man. Get there, and then you'll know what to do. You'll know how to secure lease option agreements. You'll know how to find them, and most importantly, you'll know how to do them so that both you and the vendor win. Guys, it's been a quick show this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give me a thumbs up, drop some comments below. Make sure you follow myself, Alistair_Cunningham on Instagram, and also Ricky Mandel on Instagram. Also Russell Leeds on Instagram. Make sure you follow us. If you're enjoying the podcast, let us know. And we shall catch you. Sorry, before we go, thank you for stepping in.
You're welcome.
Russell. Guys, we shall see you next time. Remember, Wednesday evenings, 7 p.m, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or you know, where you go for podcasts, that's where you'll find us, guys. Make sure you give us a review as well. Review, tell us who you like best. Is it me, is it Russell, or is it the sound guy?
It's got to be me.
Guys, see you next time. Thanks so much.
See ya.